Week update, the literal midweek. For Brad Hildebrand, I just want to give a special shout out. This is a midweek update actually in the middle of the week. But because it's a busy time there, we're going to do three of these this week. Kelton, can we do one of these tomorrow morning?
Absolutely.
I think, number one, let's just run down busy time of the year. We have coming up, first of all, for all of you out there for Concordia, we're doing the Concordia. I don't know what is it a German fest? If it's not a German fest, we're gonna make it a German fest. I have heard rumors that even Kolkmeyer has been doing this before. Uh, as I make my lunch plan like a real broadcasting professional. Don Mayhew, if you're watching, I'll see you here in 20 minutes, which means it'll be a 20-minute update, Kelton. I bet Kelton's thrilled to know this is a short update. But Brad Hildebrand, I want you to have this in the middle of the week. Calendar coming up, Concordia. We're going to Concordia German Fest Friday night. We're bringing August. Victor Faughn will be there. I'll be there. Lederhosen will be sported. Lederhosen will be sported. Let all the ladies know. Case, better keep an eye on me. I'll have my lederhosen on. You never know. A lucky Fraulein rolls in. She may have some competition. That's actually, to be clear, never the case. For somehow, Kelton, what is it about women that don't really appreciate lederhosen?
Some women just don't have taste.
There you go. Some women just don't have taste. There you are. You show me a gal in a nice German outfit holding two pitchers of beer, I'm in. Count me in. We made it an online poll, though. Getting Casey to don her German outfit, it takes a little doing. But maybe, just maybe, we can make it happen. The good folks in Concordia could be in for a very special treat on Friday. Monday, the roast of Dr. John Patterson. You know, should we give him a little taste of what's up?
I think they deserve it.
Like, there's a lot of ironic things about the first non-white dude to be speaker, or now it's white person. He came from Catherine Hanway. He's not a white dude. But there are downsides, right? Can you imagine being Dirk Deaton, right? Let's say you're Dirk Deaton and you have to work. Look, getting to be chair of budget is not easy. You have to do a lot of work. You got to shake a lot of hands. You got to prove that you're good at math. I mean, imagine being you roll into a meeting of leadership, and you're the guy that's supposed to be top on all the math. You got all the details, everything down, and you're finally gonna be the top dude, right? It's your time. They're calling your number, and the speaker's a freaking Asian. I mean, how screwed are you? You're always going to be number two at every budget meeting. Like when there's a complicated, is the state figures adding up? No one's looking at you in that meeting. They're all looking at Patterson. I mean, you could beat an Asian at math. You're not going to beat an Asian at math. Mary Elizabeth's coming in all the way for the Central West End. She's going to be. I actually think I'm going to give you my prediction, Kelton. So we have Cindy O'Loughlin, who either Cindy's going to be funny or Cindy is so not funny, it goes all the way around the world is just freaking hilarious. So either way, Cindy's going to be home run. Then you got we got Chad Perkins, who's got some great jokes. Great jokes. I mean, the one good thing if you're pulled over by Chad Perkins is there is a way to get out of that ticket, right? I mean, we've all read. You're gonna be able to get out of that. Quentin Lucas is coming over. I think I'm 90% sure he's going to tell some jokes. If not, we'll tell jokes about him. Then Wiley Price. Is there anything better than that chip tooth guy? I actually love Wiley. I am so excited he's coming over. He will be hilarious. I mean, how do you have Chad Perk, a cop followed by a black guy? I mean, both of them got in trouble for sexual-related things. Who would have thought? If I was going to name you the top two professions of people that were going to get in trouble for such a matter as they both did, I would say a cop and a black guy right there, right? I mean, it's almost its own joke, right, Kelton? You got a crowd of cop and a black guy walking in the Soybean Association.
It just writes itself sometimes.
It kind of does. It kind of does. So Wiley, but Mary, I'm going to tell you, everybody expects Wiley to be great. Cindy has three avenues to being great. I'm going to run the Senate, so you better laugh. I'm going to be actually funny, or I'm going to not be funny, and it's going to be so funny that it just going to that one will be the most funny. Chad's going to do well. I think Chad's the man. I think Chad's going to do very well. Quentin's got so much charisma, it's great. Then you've got at the tail end Mary Elizabeth Coleman. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to put my bet. Kelton, Can you now that football season's back, we have Kelton's illegal gambling operation. I'm gonna put right now odds on the funniest person is going to be Mary Elizabeth.
I think those are great odds.
I think number one, everybody's got great Mary Elizabeth jokes, like coming all the way up the Central West End, the center from Jeffco / Lindell. I mean, there's just so many great things, and I think she'll take them well because they're about her. But I think once she gets the mic, I think she's going to kill it. I actually think it's going to be hard for Patterson to follow her because I think she could. Remember that 2 years ago, Travis Fitzwater comes in, and I didn't really know how funny he would be. Travis Fitzwater slayed it. I mean, he had Don freaking Thalhuber and that's what I'm going to do. Also, I want it known. If Senator Coleman flakes on this roast, I am asking Thalhuber, and Thalhuber doesn't know who any House members are. He wouldn't know who John Patterson was if he met him on the street. Thalhuber would have no clue there even is a House, except there's a little bit of a parking problem issue, pulling into his spot in the Senate garage sometimes. So Thalhuber will be. I'm gonna see if she doesn't show. I think Thalhuber could do Mary Elizabeth jokes for how long, Kelton? I mean, he could probably go 2 hours on those jokes. It would be hilarious. And so Monday, then, Kelton, speaking of, we have the clue board, as I told you guys. So here's the deal. I heard a very unsettling rumor that despite the legislature's extreme condemnation, despite the University of Missouri, Truman got rid of DEI. No kidding. Despite the lieutenant governor, the governor saying that ain't what we do here. I heard a director was out doing DEI stuff. And if that's the case, what a spit right in the face. But we don't want to accuse anyone. So I thought back to my time as a young man when I played the game. Colton, did you ever play Clue?
All the time. It's
played
classic.
Clue. So what we've done is we broke it down to the suspect, which is the department directors, the weapon, and then the department. So it's the Colonel Mustard with DEI in the hall. This would be hypothetically saying Trevor Foley with DEI at the Department of Corrections. So I have undertaken my DEI detective task, and Kelton, I'm going to mark off 2 more. But first, the big reveal is September 10th at high noon, right here in this studio. I've had other people on the radio ask me if I would come on and, nope, doing it right here. You're my folks. I'm doing it. How many hours are we away from the big reveal?
We are 5 days, 11 hours, 50 minutes, and 42 seconds.
5 days, 11 hours. So 5 days would be 120 hours. So we're 131 hours away from the big reveal. I can tell you that I could confirm that Sandy Karsten was not at a DEI conference on June 5th. And I can tell you that Trevor Foley was not the new head of corrections. He's got a big job. He was not a DEI. That leaves, Kelton, as far as the suspects, that leaves Professor Plum. I'm sorry, it doesn't leave Professor Plum. Oh, we got to mark off down here. We got to mark that. We also can mark off their departments. Department of Public Safety is out. Okay, here we are. So our suspects we still have Michelle Hadaway from the Department of Economic Development, Paula Nicholson from the Department of Health and Senior Services, Bennett Boggs of the Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development. We have Clora Myers from the Department of Commerce and Insurance, Valerie Hune, Department of Mental Health, Levon Cupton, Missouri National Guard, and we have Drew Button with the research. So now Kelton, we have eliminated the suspects. We're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 DEI suspects. What do you think, bud?
I think it's getting kind of down to the wire here.
It is getting down. Look, I can't promise you that I'll make it in the 131 hours I have left. We are going to work as hard as we can to solve this. Kelton, I mean, if you were a betting man, and I know you are, what would you say the odds are that we're going to solve this?
I'd say it's pretty high at this point. We've got to.
Well, give me odds. Is it 2-1, 1-3?
I'd say 3-1 is probably fair. I still hold out hope that we're wrong.
I do too. Would you give insurance on those odds?
I never take insurance on odds.
Well, you shouldn't in the state of Missouri. It's becoming pretty clear. Trust them folks. So the roast will be Monday night, and then the next day, high noon, right here. We are going to look. We're gonna we've dragged this out as long as we could. We're either gonna do this, we're gonna announce it, or we're gonna throw our hands up and say we failed. Say I cannot confirm those rumors. Kelton, you want to put $20 at 3-1 that I solved this?
I'll bet you $20.
That means you got to pay me 60.
I can do math.
And you're betting that we won't solve this.
I misunderstood you.
The gambler almost got took. Okay, campaign news. I mean, look, I think this governor's race is going to be interesting because you have two people that actually do the job. I'll take your text here until Mayhew gets here, or we'll grab Mayhew and get his. I mean, Mayhew's got some opinions. 573-429-5770. Shoot me a text. We'll do. We could take care of whatever this week on the show, Kelton. Vivek Malik will be on, and we have Sharon Jones. We have Don Mayhew. We'll try to get an opinion out of him. See, Rudy Veet, one of my absolute favorites, and I'm so thrilled. Ryan Silvey's coming on. The truth is, I think he's just making so much money he needed something to do. But Silvey is one of my all-time favorite guests. He always tells you what's on his mind. You never have to guess. That'll be the show Sunday. It'll be fun this week in Missouri politics. Looking forward, I'm a believer. We're going to be set. Going to be a great roast, great roasties as far as politics goes. So I thought it was interesting. Hummel had some nice thoughts. By the way, if you took Monday off, you should shoot Jake a text. Say thanks. He thinks the 15th is going to be close. What do you think?
I think it's going to be close as well.
I got a little more faith in my man Gregory than you and Hummel. But we'll see. I tend to think they'll run full races. Peerless is a terrific candidate. If I had to guess, I'm still saying lean Gregory. I'm still saying lean Nurnberg, although I think Jerry Nolte's a terrific candidate. It's just those two districts. One's historically leaned a little more Republican, one a little more Democrat. And Maggie and David Gregory are terrific candidates. So when the race is already leaning that way, then it's going to be so interesting. I believe Joe Nicola's coming in. I'm very excited to talk to him. Look, here's the thing about Joe Nicola. The dude can campaign. He ran a major uphill fight in Lee Summit 2 years ago and placed very well. He switched total districts, moved up north to Independence, won the primary against a very good candidate, Aaron McMullen. Now, though, it's going to be interesting. This general election is going to be – he has always campaigned in primaries. And there's things you do. I got a call from West Plains coming in. You would think folks on Porter Wagner Boulevard would know we can't take a call right now, right, Kelton?
Sometimes I never learn.
I mean, seriously. So I think that's going to be very interesting to see. Can he merge the institutional support he needs, the institutional dollars he needs, and can he adjust his campaigning to a general election? I mean, the truth is that's not a Joe Nicola thing, Kelton. Think of the candidates who've never ran a legitimate contested general election. Eric Schmidt did, and when his first campaign for state senate was an absolute big-time general election campaign. But you look through, did Mike Parson ever run a really contested general election? Russ Carnahan would be the one I would say he did. Russ Carnahan was a definitely legitimate candidate. Has Mike Kehoe ever run a legitimate contested general election? I would say not until now. Not a significant one. So it's going to be interesting. Can Nicola adjust his campaigning? They are different from primary to general. And then can he bring in this Robbie Sauls? You know what he's won tough generals. He's been in a competitive state house race. You know the institutional Democrat support will be there. But I do believe Nicola might have more actual campaign on the doorstep ability than Robbie. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I think the question for that race is, can Nicola convince folks that they should spend caucus money on him, that it won't just be a pain, right? Because right now I would say if Nicola joins like a Freedom Caucus, we'll call it the St. Charles Caucus. If he joins the St. Charles Caucus, he'll kill a lot more Republican bills than Robbie Sauls ever would, right? That's if you just look at it. That's the thing. Let's talk about floor leader races. Bean Lukemeyer Fitzwater. I would say, if the new pro tem puts her finger on the scale, as I bet she would for Senator Luke DeMeyer, that's very compelling. Senator Bean had a good primary night. I would say some of the folks that won would be potential candidates for him. Underestimate Travis Fitzwater at your own peril. These things, people that want to predict what's going to happen, it's very tough. Senate, you're talking about needing 13 votes, and there's second. If all three stay in, there'll be a second round. It'll be very interesting. So Ben Brown kicked off a race for caucus chair. That's him and Jill Carter. So if you look at it, the swing votes might be your St. Charles caucus, and seeing where they lie. I don't know they'd lie for Tony's much, but they might very well lie for Cindy, Senator O'Laughlin. So if she comes in heavy, that could be the difference. Senator Bean, probably, of the folks that have made their mind up, right, I would say he's probably in the lead now. But then Senator Fitzwater's there. I mean, Cindy O'Laughlin, if there would have been a first ballot where Senator Koenig and her and Senator Bernskoetter were in, I don't think she makes it out of the first ballot. However, I do think once Senator Koenig stepped aside, she was going to win. And it went down to, did Senator Koenig step aside or not? He stepped aside, and she won on the first. There was only one ballot. There was only two candidates. You could see a scenario. I mean, I think Senator Fitzwater's supports could be very interesting. People like Travis Fitzwater. They trust his word. They like him. He's got the same thing, all three of them. Can you stand up to the St. Charles caucus? And I don't know if he can. Hey, Don Mayhew's here. Kelton, let's bring. Come on in. This is a treat. Sit down. We're live on the internet right now.
On the internet.
Have a seat. Hand him a mic.
Isn't that a contradiction in terms?
No. I think most of our viewers would agree that webcams are a thing and legitimate. Most of the illegitimate purposes. All right, now I got you in here. We can't cut into our lunchtime because we're going to tape a TV show at 1:30. But when you were early, you had to come in.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you.
Okay.
I heard a credible rumor about a month ago that you've heard of DEI, right? Basically, it says you and Kelton are jerks and you shouldn't have jobs or really be anything, right?
Me and who else?
Kelton, you're both white.
Oh yeah, no,
You both suck. So DEI says the two of you are trash.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've heard.
I don't think you are, by the way.
Well, I don't either. I'm not saying I'm a DEI. I'm the DEI detective. So I've heard you. I've heard every Republican, from the governor to the United States senators to Lieutenant Governor Key, who all say, to the University of Missouri, Truman, look at him looking like the man over here. Say, we're not doing DEI. But I heard one of the directors was at a DEI conference on June 5th. Have you heard that?
I have not.
Yeah, no doubt. But we don't want to accuse people, so we don't want to. So what I did, you ever played Clue?
Oh wow! But most of them are gone.
Well, that's how Clue works.
Oh, okay.
I mean, did you
So-
cheat and look at the
so
little
you're-
envelope when you were playing?
So
Clue?
you spotted me all of those?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just saying I have, through contacts and some requests, I have asked. We know the suspects, the department directors, the weapons DEI, and the actual the rooms would be the departments. So I have crossed off all but 7.
Now these are ones you suspect?
No, I've crossed off the ones that we know were not there.
We're not there.
And so we have 7 left. I don't know if it was the Adjutant General of the National Guard. I guess we'll find out together, right?
Okay.
But we have economic development, health and senior services, insurance, National Guard, resources. I'm down to 7, and we're going to announce this Tuesday at noon.
Yeah. Okay.
So now, just hypothetically speaking, because I mean, I'm sure this isn't the case. I'm sure this isn't the case that a person that actually lives in Georgia, doesn't even live here, is doing DEI out of a State Department, right? I'm sure that don't think that, because I don't think that's true. But let's just say,
I wouldn't guarantee that, by the way.
in a
but,
hypothetical world,
yeah, one would think.
if I showed you photographic evidence, calendar records that I'd sunshine requested of a department director at a DEI conference, what's your response?
What would be my response if I knew?
Yes, if you were given proof.
And this conference was out of state.
It was.
And there was probably a request for reimbursement on this thing.
I don't know.
So, in other words,
look, I want to find our suspect first. Then we'll ask all the, trust me, many questions that'll be asked after.
So, yeah, I mean, if they went there on their own time, they're on their nickel.
What if they were introduced as the director of Missouri Department, and that's their expertise?
Well, I mean, I go to campaign functions where I'm introduced as state
DEI
representative,
functions?
but no. Oh, yeah, right. Me at a DEI function. I don't even get invited.
You walk
to them
in, they'd
things.
lock the door behind you. You know, problem.
But no, that would be a real concern. I think, from a legislative standpoint, especially
And you've already cut this department's budget once for just screwing with rural Missouri.
Oh,
Now, man, I tell you, this could get out of hand. I don't know.
Well,
I'm sure I'm wrong. I'm sure Tuesday you'll be coming to the Cattle Veto session. You'll turn on your YouTube, and I'll have to look in the camera and say, folks, I'm sorry, I was wrong. No, I can find no proof any
Wow.
director was there.
now that would be like a first.
Well,
So-
I would have to be totally dejected. I would defeat it. I would look like a fool, frankly.
Well, that gives us something to look forward to
Indeed.
for Tuesday, right?
But on the off chance, on the 1% chance that I'm right, it's going to be an interesting day in the Missouri Senate the next day.
I would put the odds a little bit higher than that. Are you aware of any meeting that's going to be had that maybe not noticed up for yet, but folks talking about a committee hearing of any kind in that area? So,
Well, I really think most folks want to give the benefit of the doubt and say there's no way, after as clear as everyone's been, a department director just flip the governor right off to his face
Yeah.
and say, I'm doing this anyway, screw off Polk County.
Yeah.
And obviously this department hates Polk County anyway. I mean, they'll do anything they can to hurt a rural Missourian.
Well-
it is essentially the Department of Chesterfield and Lee Summit, really, is what it is.
yeah, so they don't much care for Pulaski.
Hell,
County
hate
there.
Pulaski. Oh,
Yeah.
and they even hate your constituents. One
Right.
of them just texted me to call you the esteemed Don Mayhew.
Steam.
So,
That's the one that voted for me, I guess, in the primary.
not having an
I
opponent
needed
helps.
one vote, but
All right.
yeah, I did talk to my mom about that, and I told her, I'm going to challenge in the primary, and I said, but Mom, I still need one vote, and hey, you're going to vote anyway, and she goes, well, let me see how you do in the primary, and I'll come back to you for the general. So
You got to prove
but
it.
that's my mom.
Yeah, you got to prove it.
She's hardcore. So
Okay, so you tell me. Break it down. Governor Keogh's going to do pretty well, right? I think Crystal Quaid's a competent person.
yeah.
But I don't. This state probably is not ready to elect a Democrat governor yet.
Well, and besides the fact that, and just as we see at the national level, they change their stripes depending on the situation.
You think Crystal Quaid's guilty of that, though? I mean, you've served with her every day for 5 months a year for how many years now?
I'd say she is more reasonable than a lot.
And I think if she says something, even she knows the trans stuff's not popular here, but she's took her medicine, dealt with it, and
So but we do hear the floor speeches, and admittedly, a lot of that's making videotape. I agree, but I truly believe that she is a true believer, and without
I don't
a
believe
doubt.
some of the stuff she believes, but I also think she's competent, right? I think she's a competent person that
Yes.
can do a job, and
No.
just has a different set of beliefs. However, I think by the same common sense that leads me to that conclusion, I don't see anybody beating Mike Kehoe. Do you?
No, I mean, let's face it. This is probably not that big of a stretch that Trump takes Missouri by 20, 25 points. I don't think that's an impossibility. And I think that the rest of us down ballot benefit from that. I think that's just a common way things are done. Mike Kehoe, in his own right, is a good candidate and is going to make a great governor. I have no doubt in my mind.
He knows
on that
where
issue.
Waynesville is. I've seen him give a speech there.
Well, he's got a piece of property fairly close to it, so maybe that's when we'll get I-44 fixed,
Isn't that a
right?
beautiful farm he's got there? I mean, he's
Absolutely.
done it right. He has
Yeah.
taken care of that land. I tell you, it's a beautiful place.
Yeah,
All right, let's
he's
talk.
got the most spoiled cows of any cows I've ever seen in my life. So, they are
If
spoiled
you're gonna
rotten.
be a cow, be on the
Yeah.
C-Bar
Be a
King Ranch.
be a Kehoe cow. Yeah.
All right, so tell me this. Looking forward, you've got 3 state senate races this fall. You've served with David Gregory.
Yep.
He's got a tough race. Chesterfield's not, especially with abortions, not a gimme. I feel like Gregory is the favorite there. Am I wrong?
Oh, absolutely. But once again, that's a situation where he is absolutely the best candidate, no matter who you put up against him. Dave Gregory's a good legislator, smart, takes the time to think about things before he makes a decision. The folks in that area can do no better than David Gregory, for sure.
Maggie Nurnberg, you've served with her.
Yep.
She's got so much damn energy. I always wonder how she got that energy, right?
Yeah.
She's always doing stuff. I mean, she's
Right.
always motoring around. Jerry Nolte, though.
Mhm.
Jerry Nolte reminds me, if you lived in Clay County, the old boy can get votes.
Yeah.
Now you've got some of the right wingers there, but if he was cat's out of them, he wouldn't have got votes. He wouldn't still be in office. Jerry's a good vote getter. She had a bad day when Jerry Nolte made that race.
Well, so he is one of the hardest workers I've ever seen for a Senate race, and he's going to do the same thing right up to the general election. That's a guy you can expect to be knocking doors when it's 6:59 p.m. on election day. So I'd
give Maggie the starting off. She got the district favors her. People like Lauren Arthur, but Jerry's a legit contender to win that.
So it's all about hard work, right? Especially
money.
now. Well, the national politics is helping us out right now, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, between the border issues, the China stuff, all of those things, those are things that, the bread and butter kitchen table folks, that's what they're concerned
Well,
about.
people can't afford to have bread and butter now. They have to pick one.
No, that's true. So, yeah.
What about over, Robbie Sauls?
Yep, I know Robbie. Yeah,
Joe Nicola beat Aaron McMullen, who I thought was a fantastic candidate.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting to see, can Nicola recalibrate from winning primaries to winning a general?
Well, everybody has to do that, right? And in those urban fringes.
Well,
in my area, I don't have to do that.
That leads me to my last question. Senator Brown's term limited.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really do general elections in that part of the world. You do
No.
Republican primaries.
Right.
If folks are making, let's say, a tip sheet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Should they leave Don Mayhew in the likely running for Senate at this point?
I would say that if you were doing one of those pools, then picking that name in the pool would probably be a good choice.
What goes into it is, I mean, you're tell folks that may not know, you're a professional.
Yeah.
You're a businessman. You have family. You have a business.
Right.
Brayton State Rep is a big commitment of time.
It is.
But what you're doing now, the time commitment's a little bit bigger. It's not that much bigger. What all goes into a person like yourself making a decision of everybody kind of wants to do it because the state Senate is our state's preeminent institution. What goes into making that actual decision?
So experience in the building. I mean, once you, as you pointed out, a lot of the decisions, especially good policy, can't be done until you can get it somehow wiggled through the Senate. I mean, that's something that's obvious from a first-year freshman.
Being in
over
the Senate,
now.
it's a wonderful honor to be elected by the folks of your part of the state. Serving the
As
state
it is
Senate.
in the House of Representatives.
Sure.
That is a very high honor.
But how do you what goes into a guy like yourself making like the decision of, okay, I'm going to sit down now and I'm going to look through, here's the factors I'm going to look through to decide whether I actually jump in and do this?
So, well, a couple of things right off the bat. I don't have any chicks at home anymore, right?
Very helpful.
And I don't know how these young men do it and young ladies do it that have
It's
young kids
public
at home.
service.
Oh,
we
my
all like to
goodness.
joke about politicians, but I watched Todd Richardson watch his son Sawyer's first hit in Little League on FaceTime.
Yeah.
Because he was up here. That is
Yeah.
public service. I look, we all like to tell jokes, and
Right.
nobody was taking themselves too seriously. But the fact is, you guys do a service to this state, and it is a true service.
But the main thing is, and this is going to sound corny, but it truly is the case, and it's not just with me, but other folks who serve also. It's definitely, if not us, then who, and if not now, then when, kind of a thing. And we all sit at home, as those of us who are involved, and we look around at the things that are going on, and we feel the need to be involved and to see if we can, at some small way, right the ship. I tell incoming freshmen, you're not gonna get the Hail Mary. It ain't gonna happen. You're gonna have to be satisfied with inches at a time, and you gotta hope that the person that comes after you is going to move that ball another inch.
And the truth is, some of the worst public policy I've ever seen is when you guys try to do the Hail Mary all at once.
Well,
Some of the absolute worst laws. They usually don't even end up like what you wanted.
Right.
because you're trying to do too much.
No, and so by the time it makes it all the way through the process, a lot of times you don't even recognize the bill. And usually that happens, as you are well aware, in that last 2 weeks. That's when we start seeing the stuff that's really bad for the people of the state of Missouri.
Tell me about this guy. What kind of speaker is he going to be?
And he's going to be a fantastic speaker.
I actually think that's true, and I'll tell you why. I think he has the ability to tell folks no, which is not a trait every speaker has.
Right.
I think he has the ability to, I think he actually thinks through things. And it's not, oh, let me repeat the dumbest thing I've heard on Facebook today. It's not, it's actually, usually if you ask John Patterson, how did you get there? He can, even if it's political decisions, he can tell you the logic of how he got there. It wasn't just, oh, I'm kissing this person's ass over here.
So, John and I became friends because we both came in as freshmen, but it's two people that we don't have anything in common, other than we happen to be in the House of
You're both
Representatives.
professionals, though. What do you do for a living?
I'm an engineer and a surveyor, so
He's
I'm
a
dual
doctor.
licensed.
I would say that I think.
Well, he makes a little bit more money than I do at that doctor thing, but
But being able to design an interchange or something is a profession. You're a professional.
Yeah.
You've had to go to have advanced degrees. So is he. That's something you have in common, right?
well, certainly, but also the common thing of wanting to do something for the people. So I've known John. We've become very good friends over the years, and we started out that way as freshmen. Let's face it, I was in a group of folks that, we had Dr. Patterson, we had Mike Hafner, who was, an F-18 pilot.
Jeez, his
and
resume.
and I could go down the list, and all these people were introducing themselves, and I'm at the end of the aisle, and I said, well, I am the least impressive person in this particular freshman class. And John being that, and the guy before me, honestly, in my seat, was Dr. Keith Frederick also.
Oh, yeah.
I have been known to whine a bit about what I give up, income-wise of being in the House of Representatives, but I always contrast that with Keith Frederick and Dr. Patterson on what they give up. I mean, Dr. Frederick was a bone doctor down in Phelps County, and imagine what he gave up to be here. And I love what he told me the day after the primary. I won, fortunately. Well, some might say that might not be. And he had lost the primary.
Your accountant might not say fortunate.
Right, and he had lost the primary for Senate. And so he called me up to congratulate me, and I said, yeah, hey, Keith, sorry it didn't turn out the way you wanted it. And he goes, oh, no, Don, he says, tomorrow I get a big raise. So that is, I guess.
Always like Keith Frederick.
He's a good guy. He's retired now, but yeah, Keith's excellent. But we still work on stuff together because on the health stuff, there is no one who knows that better than Keith. He's the guy that, his bill that created the AP program that I don't know if you're familiar with or not.
I am because he told me.
Yeah. Yeah.
The truth is, it helps. I don't care what your background is. It helps to have, if you're talking about healthcare, to talk to a doctor, talk to a nurse. If you're talking about building a road, it helps talk to an engineer. If you're talking about insurance, helps talk to an insurance agent.
Sure.
That is one of the great things about now. You know somebody in every field in this state. Serving in this place for 8 years. You now know someone in every possible field that if you have a question, you can reach out to.
Yeah.
You also know a gambling guy. And so the way we end this, number one, I always say to the folks at United Fiber for letting us come. I actually got this from a guy named Keith, but he's from Southeast Missouri, this Stein here.
Yeah.
And if you're bringing folks to town and you want to impress them, you got constituents coming in, big meeting, you're going to maybe go meet the governor. What hotel you picking?
Here?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd rather not say.
The Courtyard by Marriott's where you're picking, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Wow.
The Courtyard by Marriott.
You
Yeah,
built him up as this great businessman. He's looking at the thing, and of all the people to drop that line, Hummel even got that right. Holy. Okay, so Kelton runs an illegal gambling shop. You'll have to play with this. Kelton, the Mizzou, what we got? Boston College? Who we got?
It's actually Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Oh, Buffalo. Wow.
Wow, has a college.
By how
Okay.
many points? Yeah.
What's spread?
So Mizzou's got to win by 35.
Ooh.
You're giving 35 to Mizzou. You taking that?
To get in the money? No, I'm not.
You're taking Buffalo. With
even though they broke the top 10, that's a pretty darn good thing.
Truman did get rid of DI, so I'm going to take Truman and give the points. But Kelton, that is a stiff line, man.
Well,
I'm not in Vegas. So
we're not in the
Well,
conference.
you are the bookie, Kelton. Kind of does the buck. Here, The buck stops with you.
Yeah, but we're not in the conference schedule yet, right?
Okay,
So,
well, I'm gonna go with Truman, but it's a homer pick. Kelton picks Mizzou every time. It could be Mizzou by 150. He'd pick Mizzou every single day.
well, Truman's not in the top 10 either, so.
Well, we gotta be close though, right? Florida State's 0-2. We gotta be getting there.
Well, it was a 40. Was that 41?
I didn't like
41 to
seeing,
0.
It
We
was
have
in the
Boston
50s.
College on the schedule. I think we play Boston College next. I didn't like seeing them get a big confidence win against Florida State. We're playing them on the road.
That was about TV time, right? That's to encourage some TV time. So
If you
yeah.
need a conspiracy theory and you don't know anyone from St. Charles, call Don Mayhew. He'll help you out every time. All right, what do we got for the Chiefs?
I didn't look at the
You
Chiefs.
didn't do the Chiefs? What? All right, so here's the thing. I've got the Chiefs. It is, well, the betting line here is, I don't know.
Of course, this betting you're talking about is all for fun, right? It's not.
No,
definitely not
Kelton's
for-
illegal. Here's the thing. How stupid is it you can't bet on the Chiefs in the state of Missouri? I mean, these people talk about being conservatives and all this. Leave people alone. Just Kelton's running an illegal gambling shop here.
Well, technically, that's a libertarian position, but
I don't
okay.
care. I just think leave people the hell alone. That's my position. Kelton's running an illegal gambling shop for a year and a half. Kelton, have the cops hassled you?
Not yet.
Shout out to John Wheeler, Cole County Sheriff's Department. You haven't got any phone calls. You haven't got any reaching out from the feds?
Might not want to go home for a day or two, to make sure that warrant gets a little cold for you.
All right. So the Chiefs are giving up 3.
Wow.
Hosting the Ravens at home Thursday night.
Wow.
What are you taking Chiefs?
Of course.
I'm taking the Chiefs and giving up 3. Kelton, where are you at on that? He's a bit more of a gamble. He runs a cool engine. Mizzou, he's a total homer. The Chiefs, he'll be more studious.
I mean,
Well.
I'll take the Chiefs this time, but Mizzou's a give me this week. So
Yeah.
But
yeah.
at 35 points, that's what the spread's for.
they just beat the other team by like 50.
All
Yeah.
right. It's lunchtime, and as you can tell, I don't skip lunch. We'll be back here tomorrow mid-morning. We'll cross off another. We're down to 7, Kelton. We may have to cross 3 off tomorrow to get there.
That's a tall order.
Do you think we can do that if we work hard this afternoon?
We can certainly try.
All right, we're going to cross 3 off. That's going to bring it to the final 4. And then I guess we'll do a midweek update on Monday and try to do 2 more. Then we'll be down. Man, I tell you, that's an aggressive schedule. Colombo, Matlock, I don't think they can pull that off. But your DEI detective, Scotty Faughn, will pull it off. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see you Sunday with Don May.